How are we, boys and girls? Welcome to the Going Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Braam Hein, creating Koala on all other social media platforms. And here we will be deep diving on all things health and wellness. First of all, I love you. Hopefully you are having a fantastic day. The TikTok ban just went through in the US. So literally for about 12 hours, everyone was losing their collective minds. And I fell into it a little bit. I tried to get on TikTok a few times and I was like, oh, God, how am I going to waste 3 hours of my time? Which I do that a lot, I'm sorry. But I also post on there, so it's technically efficient. But nonetheless, it's back for 90 days. Shout out the government, I guess. I don't know. But we'll see what happens now. Shout out Young LA t-shirt. Kind of tough, you know what I'm saying? But before we get into today's episode, I want to update you guys on a few things. First of all, I don't know if you guys know who RJ Passon is, and is it Patasinski? I don't know how to say his name, but they're just like the guitar riff guys on TikTok. Dude, they release some bangers. They release heat. Like, I listen to their music all the time in the gym or like runs, cardio, anything. Cause it's just like, it makes me feel like I'm like a main character on like a sick TV show or something. I don't know, it's awesome. So sick. Highly recommend. RJ Passon and Patasinski. I'm sorry if I butchered that. They're awesome. Also, school has pretty much kicked in for me. So I am going to keep on top of this. I promise that. But some of the episodes might be a little different, might be a little shorter. I don't know. But I will try to provide as much as I can for as many people as I can, for as long as I can. But yeah, so this semester is going to be kicking into gear heavy pretty soon. But I'll make sure that I take some time out of my week to do this and provide as much information and knowledge as I can, because that's what I promised. So I'm going to do that. But today's episode is I actually wasn't planning on filming today, but I kind of had a conviction to talk about this because it's something that affected my life pretty heavily for a very, very long time. And I still struggle with sometimes, and that is binge eating. Oh, scary buzzwords. But so basically what binge eating is just you have kind of episodes of where you just eat until you're like kind of uncomfortable. Like you eat so much food, so many calories, usually unhealthy things. But it can be, sometimes I ate like low calorie ice cream. I ate way too much of it just because I was like just fiending for something. Or just like I just had like tablespoons of peanut butter just because I needed something. That's what I told myself in my head. And yeah, so it comes with like episodes. It's not like a thing that you just do a lot, such as overeating. But binge eating is where usually it happens when you over restrict and then you over consume in a short period of time, like at night usually. It's when I usually do it. Used to do it a lot. And it affected my life a lot in college. I used to be pretty bad when I was a kid, just because I was a kid, I just wanted to eat food a lot and wasn't really cognizant of it. But I became really cognizant of it when I was in college, when I just needed to lose a little bit of weight. And I didn't know how to at the time, so I just like underate a crap ton. I just would eat like cauliflower rice and tofu, and then I'd go and I'd do that for a few days, feel good, and then I'd just have this immense urge to just devour anything I ate and just eat, overconsume by like 5K calories. There'd be some days where I ate 6,000-7,000 calories in a few hours span, and I would just feel ill, feel so sick. And I just thought it was kind of a thing that I would get over, but I didn't get over it for a very, very long time. And I hid it for a very, very long time because I was afraid of what people would think of me. Because I was like, oh, I'm meant to be the guy who knows about health and fitness, but he binge eats Reese's cups and M&Ms and all that. And it hurt my mentality a lot and hurt my mental health a lot. It weighed on me for a very, very long time because I'd be hiding it from my roommates, and like I'd go like to the vending machine and just fucking buy like 7 things and just eat all of it in like a 5-10 minute span because I didn't want anyone to like find out about it. And it was bad. It was very, very bad for a long time. And it was because I knew a lot about nutrition, but I wanted the results quicker than I was willing to admit. And it was like a volcano every now and then. There was some days where it was bad. There's some days where it wasn't too bad, but if I like was very consistent with my diet and then I ate maybe like a pack of fruit snacks, then the rest of my day would just be ruined. I'd be like, oh, I went off my diet, so I may as well just eat an entire Domino's pizza and a lava cake by myself. And I'd try to find somewhere no one could see me or no one would know I'm there, and I'd do that. And even talking about this feels weird because I've only told a few people about this, but I know a lot of people struggle with it. So I really want to help ease the pain of what people are going through, because I know what the pain is, and it sucks. It's awful because you want to be so consistent, and then one thing happens, and then you just go off the rails. And I understand why that happens. It's something that clicks in your brain to where you want to be perfect, and as soon as it's not perfect, you're like, well, this day is ruined. Fucking throw it out the window. 4,000 calories of just buttered noodles or something like that. But it really affected my consistency because I would overeat so much that I would kind of not ruin my week's work, but I'd just get so caught up in that I thought I did that then the next day it would just roll. It just continue. And it's not to where I got into a better mental health standpoint towards food and towards health and towards lifestyle things, that I really was able to understand the mechanisms behind it, how to fix it, and how to combat the thoughts that came along with it. Because I was really bad with it because I was over-restricting heavily. Like I was eating like 2,200 to sometimes even 2,000 calories as a 6'2", over 200 pound kid who played collegiate basketball, would play basketball for like over an hour and a half a day, on top of lifting, on top of getting 10, 12,000 steps, and eating a hefty amount of protein. I would be eating that much, and it was bad because then it would go. It's also why I got injured a lot, because I wasn't eating enough. But regardless, that could be another episode. But yeah, I remember when I got under 200 pounds for the first time, and I only had maybe like one binge eating episode in like a month span, I was like, this is where it's changing. And then I got to 191, and I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. This is crazy. Like, this is like the lightest I've ever been. Right now I'm like 212, but I'm much healthier. I'm a lot stronger. I look a lot better, I feel. And yeah, I got down to 191, and then I remember within like 2 months, I was back up to like 210. I was like, what the fuck happened? But I just had so many binging episodes because we kind of ramped up preseason, and I still was eating 2,000 calories a day. So then 3 or 4 days out of the week, I would just be so tired, and my body needed food. So then I just ate way too much, went to the cafeteria, had everything. It was bad. But why fixing the relationship with food and binge eating changed my life was because food controlled me for a very long time in my life, years of my life. Like every decision I made was based around, like, will this fit into my plan? Well, how can I do this? If I did go off plan, I'd just be ruined mentally, and then it just spiral. But I was good at hiding it, I feel. Maybe not. And it really controlled my life. So then how fixing that relationship with it and these tips I'm about to give you guys because then I understood what food is for, how it can't control me because I control me, and being able to understand the mechanistic variables behind how food and brain coincide can really shift your perspective on what food is. So I have 5 steps here, and they're all things that I feel are the most important. That people talk about these things a lot. I don't feel like they cover them to the extent that I'm about to, but you don't have to take in every single thing. Just if you take in a few of them and apply them, you will it can help. Trust me. Because I know a lot of collegiate athletes struggle with this. I know a lot of regular people struggle with this. I've seen it a lot, whether people like to admit it or not. I didn't press them about it, but I've seen it, and because I was a part of it, and I just hope that these things can help. So the first thing that I learned too late, so I'm telling you this now, is that if you're counting calories and if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to cut or something like that, you have to understand that the weekly is way more important than the daily. Now, I say this because me personally, so as I said, I was on 2,100, sometimes even 2,000 calories a day. In my head, if I went over that, day was so cooked. That day was ruined. So then I'd just go in a binge, which is a lot. I feel that's one of the biggest things that people do and that people think is that if they go over on their calories in a day, then it's ruined. And that day sucks because your scale weight might go slightly up or you won't lose as much as you thought you would. When in reality, you're still probably at a deficit either way. Just it won't be a 500 calorie deficit. It might be a 470 calorie deficit, which you're oh no. Trust me, it's going to be fine. And especially even if you go over by 500 calories in a day. This is an example. If you go over 500 calories in a day and you're in a 500 calorie deficit, that means that you just ate at maintenance for 1 day. Whoa. Shit's crazy, right? Sometimes I still struggle with this. I can't get that through my head until I say it out loud. That means that you didn't lose any progress. If anything, you probably just gained recovery so then you can kill the rest of the week. If you are trying to lose a pound in a week, and so losing a pound of body fat, everyone kind of knows that you need to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit within a week's period. If you're in a 500 calorie deficit for 6 days, and one of those days you ate 500 more calories, and so you're at maintenance for that day, you're still in a 3,000 calorie deficit for that week, which means that you've nearly lost a pound of weight, most likely fat weight, if you're eating enough protein in your resistance training and you're keeping on top of sleep and stress. Most likely, most of that would be fat. Maybe 89% of that would be fat. Maybe a little bit of water, and then the rest, a little bit of muscle, obviously. You have to be okay that with some days you're going to eat a little bit more, and some days you might even eat a little bit less than what you expect, just because that day you might have been super busy or you just felt really full that day for some reason, so you just didn't eat as much. Those things will balance out to the average of what you want to do. So be okay with if you're eating at a 2,400 calorie diet and one of those days you eat 2,600, 2,700. That isn't the end of the world. That is okay, because you're still in a slight deficit probably. Or you might be eating at maintenance, maybe possibly in a slight surplus. But if you do that for 1 day, say you even do that for 4 days out of a week's period, you'll still be in a majority deficit for the week, which means you're fine. You're on the right track. The monthly, yearly, decadely, if that's a word, metrics matter more than daily. Obviously, days add up, so like you can't just be like, oh, okay, well, I can just eat everything that I want in a day. Obviously, no, that's not how that works. But a week is 7 days. So obviously, try your best in a day to do what you can. But if one of the 7 days doesn't work out how you thought it would, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And that's okay. Say you do, even if you did binge, maybe you ate an extra 1,000 calories. You're still given the example that I issued before, instead of eating 500 calories over, you ate 1,500 calories over. You're still in a 2,000 calorie deficit for the week, so which means you're still on the right track. Yeah, is your progress going to be exactly what you want? Probably not, but you're still on the right track. So just focus more so on the bigger picture and know that the smaller systems, the smaller days, the micro measurements will add up to the big things. That's the biggest piece of advice that I can give. Secondly, I heard this from Higher Wellness and I really resonated with it because I thought that I had a bad relationship with food. I just had a negative mindset just in general. I didn't have a bad relationship with food. I had a negative mindset in general. And Higher Wellness always talks about you don't have relationships with food. You have relationships with people. Food is not a person. It doesn't have a consciousness. You can't have a relationship with an inanimate thing. It was food, maybe. It did have a conscience, but it didn't anymore. Sorry, cow lovers. Yeah. But food is fuel. It is not, there's no emotional connection to food. That doesn't mean that if you eat something nostalgic, you're not going to have any emotion. I'm just saying you can't have an emotion you can't have a negative I would even argue, you don't even have a positive emotion towards a certain thing. You can like what you eat and you can love what you eat even, but you can't have any emotional attachment to a meal, to a calorie. It is a metric. It is not a person. It's not a thing. You don't have a relationship with that. Because there's no food that is good or bad for you inherently. Are foods better for the body? Yes. But you can't, if you eat a piece of cheesecake one day, that's not a bad thing for you. You had a piece of cheesecake. That's it. That's all you did. That's all you ate was that. You didn't ruin your day. You didn't ruin your relationship with food because you ate a donut, you ate one Sour Patch watermelon, which are fantastic, by the way. So what I really want to get across here is that's one of the biggest things I thought was, I can't have this because it's a bad food. And then if I ate it, I'm like, well, shit, I ate something bad today, which means it cancels out everything that I just did. It's going to ruin my metabolism, blah, 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 whatever. So then I just would continue to eat the bad food. But that's because I labeled everything as good or bad. And with that comes consequences, because if you don't eat the good things, then you're just ruining your mindset towards literally everything. And that's one of the biggest things for me, is that I just got rid of that completely. I eat what makes me feel good, and I eat mainly whole foods because I like them. I like whole foods. I feel like I like how they make me feel. I like how they make me perform. And occasionally, every Monday, usually I go to trivia and I have a smash burger with chips, fries, whatever. Previously, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have had to have cooked beforehand, or if I didn't cook beforehand, I would have been salivating at everyone's fucking meals. But fixing that relationship just frees up, and you can enjoy life again. You're able to acknowledge that, yes, I ate this thing, and that's the end of it. I ate it. Cool. It was good. I liked it. Nice. And just being able to have an internal regulator of, I ate this, I woke up the next day, I didn't feel that great. Probably shouldn't eat that again. Not because it's bad, just didn't agree with me. And that's the end of the story. There's nothing else to it. It's not because it's bad. It's not because it has chemicals in it that are going to ruin my brain function. Shut up. If you eat 60,000 of them, maybe. But if you have one every fucking blue moon, it's fine. Sorry I get passionate about this stuff. Anyway, moving on from that one. So, no food is good or bad. You have relationships with people, not food. Third one. This one I get really, really intense about because I used to be so heavily into it. The whole low-calorie hacks and foods and all that recipes and that bullshit, they're tools. I feel like a lot of people who try weight loss diets or try all this shit rely, like 80% of their diet is low-calorie hacks or like low-calorie ice cream or low-calorie quesadillas or some bullshit. If you label it as that, it's going to ruin your relationship towards food. So low-calorie hacks are tools, and they're not, I personally am very vindicated that they're not helpful long-term, especially if you label them as low-calorie hacks, diet, bullshit, whatever. Most of the low-calorie thing, like low-calorie, like what? Why can't I think of an example? Low-calorie, why am I struggling? Like a low-calorie stir fry or something like that. If you really think about what those ingredients are, it's literally probably just chicken, vegetables, maybe like just less rice, and then the low-calorie secret sauce is just like soy sauce, maybe a little bit of honey, and then like chili oil. Those are just ingredients, bro. Like, you're just picking mainly whole food ingredients, and then you're just putting them together. It's not a low-calorie hack. It's just a meal. It's just a meal that's lower in calorie. Or like the ice cream thing. It's like, oh, I just fill it up with a lot of ice and then almond milk instead of regular milk. You just replaced whole milk with almond milk. That's not a low-calorie hack. You just replaced one ingredient. You just made it lower calorie. That's all it is. Using things like xanthan gum to make it more voluminous, it just kind of fucks with my gut. If it doesn't mess with your gut, do it, because I mean, it makes it super, super high volume. But I just feel, whenever I ate a lot of those things, because I'd do a lot of those hacks, I would just feel so bloated because there's just so many highly processed ingredients in it that I just wouldn't feel great. But just focus on having lower calorie foods. Don't make these elaborate things. You can. I mean, I have, and some of them are pretty good, and I might do some eventually. But just for the love of God, don't make it your entire diet, because it's just gonna have negative connotations towards every other food. Because if you have a low calorie burger with low calorie sauce, then you're gonna look at a regular burger and be like, I can't have that because it's not low calorie. Shut up. Sorry, didn't mean to tell you shut up. But you get what you know what I'm getting at. And this is different to what, like, protein snacks, because they're just helpful additions to get more protein in, I guess. And that's how I view them. Like the protein, like Quest chips or the Prime Bite brownies or whatever they are. I don't view them as lower calorie versions of a brownie or something. I just view them as an avenue to get more protein in. That might just be a little nicer. That might be quicker. Might be more efficient. Might be just different to what I'm used to having, so I can just switch things up. It's not like I'm doing it. I used to do this. I used to do it because I'm like, oh, I'm craving chips right now, but I can't have regular chips. Removing that from your head, saying that you can't have that thing, especially with binge eating, if you have the disorder, if you have like if you're diagnosed with it, is going to make you, as soon as you start an episode, that's the thing you go for. Because I haven't had it. Your brain just goes straight to it. So first of all, allow yourself to have those things in moderation. Just If you're at a party, just have some. It's okay. But don't view the protein snacks, low calorie hacks as avenues to get this thing. Just view them as, this is just what I want to eat today. This is just an avenue to get more protein in today. That I haven't been able to get before. It's okay to be okay with not having that thing and having it. What I'm trying to get at, it's just okay to just eat the low calorie thing just because it's going to help you. Not because it's saving my diet, because it's allowing me to have chips when I shouldn't allow myself to have chips. I think that's the biggest thing, is because it's saying I shouldn't be allowed to have it, but I'm having it. That is ruining your mentality just towards food in general, in my humble opinion, because I've been there, and it ruins relationships with things. And it takes a lot of time to get used to that, and that's okay. Because you're not gonna just stop binge eating, especially because if you watch this video, you're not gonna just stop binge eating immediately. But as long as you're progressing towards the right direction, instead of having an episode every 2 or 3 days, if you progress it to having one every week, one every month, one every few months, then if you have one once a year, that's good. Or if you have one once every 6 months, even if you have one once a month, honestly, if you want to hear my genuine real truth, that's fine. That's completely okay. Because it's 1 day out of a month. It's okay. It's fine. Your progress is going to still be on a very nice track. Sorry, I want to attention that. But anyway, low calorie hacks, low calorie foods, just let it cook. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the fourth thought is exercise will not outdo the binge. I've been there. There was one day I specifically remember, it was my freshman year. I was really on top of my diet. I got to a pretty close to a goal weight. I think if I'm recalling correctly, the weight was 203.2. I was very, very happy about that because I was getting close to the 200 mark. So I was at like 215. I still didn't look great. I was feeling like shit. Anyway, that's a different story. But then I got a package from my parents, which I loved and I appreciated. But I had some like Cadbury chocolate and it had a bunch of different chocolates in it just because it's Christmas time. You're meant to enjoy that. But at that point, I woke up. It was the 24th. It was just me and my buddy on campus because no one else was there. And I ate. I even tracked it. I think I ate 2,800 calories worth of chocolate and shit. Saying that out loud is bad. But, so then I went to the stair stepper. I was like, I can just work it off. Went to the stair stepper and I did an hour and a half on the stair stepper to burn it off. And I felt like shit. Because I had just ate 2,800 calories worth of chocolate, then I did an hour and a half of cardio on the stair stepper. It wasn't fucking slow either. I watched a show on there. It was pretty fun. It was a pretty good show. I think, what did I watch? You? No, because I was with my buddy. Watch something. Anyway. It was a Money Heist. Good show. You should watch it. But I just killed my body because I was like, I went so bad. I went rogue on my diet that I just needed to, I don't know if the word was punish myself, but I need to get back on track by equaling out the calories. And I remember literally the next day, it was Christmas, and I just binged the entire day because I was so, like, my body was destroyed. It was destroyed. And then the next day, the 26th, I rolled my ankle, like stage 3 sprain, really bad. And I truly attest that to, I killed my body for a few days because I was trying to get back on track. Whereas bad diet days happen. They're gonna happen. Some days you might go out and you might have an extra 1,000 calories, you might have an extra 1,500 calories, whatever. As long as you just get back on track and you actually stick to the diet the next day, and you, instead of cutting out 1,000 calories worth of food, you just eat what you're meant to eat. And even then, you might not want to eat that much. You might just eat a few hundred calories less. It's going to even out. It's going to balance out. You're going to lose the water weight, and you're going to bounce back out in a day or two, and you'll be completely fine. So you just getting back on track is the biggest marker for maintaining progress. Because if you do what I did and you ate a shit ton the morning of or the night before, and then you just try and work it off, some people are like, yeah, it's grind mentality. Yeah, if you mess up, just work. That's gonna ruin your entire, it's gonna ruin the sanctity of what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is live a healthier life. That isn't a healthier life. If you think that when you overeat something that you have to immediately go and exercise, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. I don't care what you say, what you think, that's wrong. Because dude, I was there, dude. Like the mentality, the mental health behind that is just so fucking cooked. Because you can't truly just appreciate what's going on. You can't appreciate life. You can't appreciate that you're feeling better. If you try to work off every calorie that you burn, you're missing the point. You're trying to live a healthier life. You're trying to live a more fulfilled life. You're trying to live a stronger life. You're trying to live a better life for your family, for your kids, for your future wife, for your friends, your whatever it is. If you have such a negative mentality towards every calorie you eat, you're not going to appreciate any social interaction you have. You're not going to appreciate the time that you're actually spending with people. Because then you're going to slightly judge everything, every food that someone eats, every calorie that someone consumes, every calorie that you look at. Just, brother, it's food. It's not this end-all be-all thing. If you aren't a bodybuilder, you shouldn't worry about every single calorie that you consume. And I'm mainly telling this, well, first of all, I'm telling this to a literal camera. But I feel like I'm talking to a mirror right now because, God, if I could go back and just slap myself in the face and tell him, like, dude, shut up. Like telling myself to be quiet and just appreciating things. Like there'd be so many events that I would go to, like with my friends, or I'd go out to dinner and I would just be so caught. Like I wouldn't be there because I'd be analyzing the fucking menu about the calories and shit, and then putting it into MyFitnessPal to see what I can fit. And some people need that, but dude, I would say 95% of people don't. So don't do that. Have an off-plan meal. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy life. Sorry, went on a tangent there. This is going to kind of lead into the last step. And it's something that really, this is one, because I really went away from this for a long time, but I like to embody it, but I definitely didn't embody it with my view on food and my binge eating persona that I had. And it's that a positive mindset will always prevail. If you beat yourself up about shit all the time, you go nowhere. If you're like, I'm a piece of shit, I need to fucking only eat broccoli and chicken and fucking meh. If you tell yourself that, it's not gonna work. Sometimes you might need to hear it. Like, hey, stop. Just like, but not even like in a negative way, just be like, hey, you need to focus. You need to lock in. You need that. Sometimes you might see a video on TikTok and you're like, I do that sometimes. I see a video on TikTok, I'm like, hell yeah, I need to fucking lock in. It's like an edit of some like hard style bodybuilding workout or something like that. You're like, you need to fucking lock in, stop being a bitch. I mean, like, I'm saying that not because I'm like, oh, yeah, he's right, I need to stop being a bitch. It's just like, sometimes it's a little motivating, like, hell yeah, I want to lock in, hell yeah. But just telling yourself that, because with binge eating, I labeled myself as a binge eater. I just binge. I have binge eating disorder. Like, this is what I am. This is who I am. As soon as I label me, as said thing, binge eater, brain connects this to me, so I do. And whenever I'm like, when I'm trying to think, I shouldn't do this, my brain goes, oh, you are this, so do. And I can't stress enough, if you just write down, or if you just tell yourself, when those thoughts arise, it's like, hey, I'm not this. I'm not what I'm thinking right now. Dude, it's a different game. Because then you're just not, like, you're literally just pushing it away. You're just like, no, it's not me. I control who I am. I don't want to be that. I'm not that. If you just say that, dude, crazy. The same goes for people with bad grades. Like, dude, school's just not for me. I'm not a school person. If you tell yourself that, do you think, honestly, in your head, that you're going to study? That you will study for a test the night, a few days before? No, what you're going to do is that you're going to go to the test unprepared. You're going to take the test. You're going to get a bad grade, and you get the results. Someone's like, oh, how'd you do? You're like, dude, I'm just not a school person, bro. I got this. If you tell yourself, hey, I want to be good at school, I am going to become a studious person, you will get better at school. Like, you will just get better grades, because your brain associates what you tell it. If you tell it, I'm a studious person, you're more likely to study. If you write down a goal, you're 47% more likely to achieve it. So if you write down, I am not a binge eater, this is not me, I am a person who has a healthy relationship with people and not food, and food is going to fuel me day to day to be a better person. I guarantee you, if you write that down, if you look at it, you will it'll just happen. And you may not be where you want to be at, but if you just tell yourself, hey, I'm not where I want to be at today, that means internally in your head, what you're telling yourself is, I'm going to get there. So I'm going to make decisions today and this week and this month and this year that is going to get me to where I want to go. Like, hey, I am overweight today. You might tell yourself that, and you're going to tell yourself that until you get to when you're not, and when you're fit, when you're healthy, when you're the best version of yourself. You're going to look at that, and you're going to start writing it down. You're going to be like, hold on, I'm fucking not this. Like, I'm sick. I'm awesome today. Yeah. And you get to like flex in the mirror and be like, fuck yeah, that's me. You know how empowering that is? Just like, think about that. Think about the day when if you try this exercise for me, please. If you're like, hey, I'm not a runner. Like, if you don't run, I'm not a runner. That's a bad example. Because then if you run, okay, I'm going to say this. If you say you're not a runner, that's because you don't run. If you go on a run, you do that 3 or 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a week, and you do that for an extended period of time, who can come up to you and tell you that you're not a runner? Nobody. I still went on like a motivational tangent, sorry. But I do urge you to, if you aren't where you want to be, write down write down the specific thing that you want to do. Like, if you're trying to lose weight, write down, I am overweight today. But emphasize the today. Capitalize it, bold it, underline it, circle it, fucking put an arrow to it. Do whatever the fuck you need to do. Emphasize the today. Because that way you know that what you do today and this week and this year is going to solely focus on you changing that sentence. Because if you have to, but you also have to believe that you will change the sentence, because that's a huge thing. And the last thing I'm going to hop on with binge eating is that it's okay to tell people that you go through it. I didn't for years, and it was killing me. I remember when I first saw my friend, he was like, "Oh, what?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, dude, no, surely, like, you don't do that. Like, nah." I'm sure he just like, I think he thought I was overreacting, but then I was like, "No, like, I used to like go to the vending machine and like buy 6 or 7 things and eat it and tell you that I was just in the toilet because I just didn't want you to leave the room and maybe find me." He's like, "Oh, shit. Oh." And then just telling people about it and telling people that you're trying to be better at it, like, and try to not be that, it helps, because they'll be supportive. Like, they'll be like, "Hey, you doing okay?" Like, or, "Okay, I've seen you locking in really well. That's awesome. Keep it up." It helps. It does. And if you have the right support system around you, they'll help you out. And if you don't, leave that support system. I can tell you that right now for $2. Sorry. But yeah, just, it's okay. You're not alone. People go through it. I went through it for a very long time. I still struggle with it sometimes. I do catch myself. I'm like, "Hey, like, you're not that person anymore. You don't do that. You're a regular human being who eats regular things and like is okay with eating just in general. Not like, you don't have to count every single thing you do." I do still count calories. I will say that. That's just a me thing though. I like counting calories. I like tracking progress, but you don't have to. First and foremost. But regardless, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna learn. You might have to learn these things yourself. I just want to tell you these things so that you have the baseline for yourself, and maybe you're gonna clock yourself doing it, and hopefully you can rearrange your thought patterns to just, you're gonna be okay. And there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be hard. And on the journey, it's not going to be the easiest thing. But once you do the hard thing, you have all the proof in the world to say that you can do whatever you want, whatever you put your mind to, because you've done hard things. And doing hard things is the premise for living a successful and fruitful life. And I hope that this, whatever I'm doing, is helping as many people as I can. As many people as it can, sorry. And that I'm doing what I meant to do. And yeah, being here and sharing this message, I won't lie, it was hard because I didn't want to admit it for a long time, and I've only admitted it to a few people. But it's something that I feel is necessary to talk about, because so many people go through it, and if you don't talk about things, nothing is going to get better. So hopefully this helps. I love you. Have a great day whenever you're watching it, whoever you are. And I will chat to you next week. And I'm sorry I got passionate today. It's what I do. So, have a great one. Enjoy food, enjoy people. Have the best time. Aroha nui to all my Maori people out there. Love you. Have a great one.